Good morning. It's actually a bit milder today. It was brutally cold over the weekend, but now it's Wednesday and it's actually slightly above zero. So getting ready to go to work. Just breakfast. Wow. Wow. Anyway. Societal progress is not driven by greed. It is not driven by capitalism. It is driven by freedom of inquiry, which in turn requires a more egalitarian society, a balanced and harmonious society. A society that exists not just for the benefit of one single class, but for everyone, for all people. And unfortunately, when we go to extremes, we build a society that is only for a very few, in which everyone else is outside of that small parameter of that which will be acceptable. We need an egalitarian society. We need a compassionate society. We need a humane society. No, not just the one that looks after dogs, but the ones that people live in as well, okay? A society in which people are treated decently, simply because they are people. We are people. We are human beings, and as such, we are treated with a certain basic minimum level of dignity and respect. And this needs to be universal. And we are fed fear and hatred of the other, yes, in the media, and this in turn leads us to support unequal policies, the lack of egalitarianism, the lack of humanity, the lack of humanitarianism, the lack of compassion across government of all levels. This cannot possibly be good. It can only lead to the repetition of the same old mistakes, errors, and blunders that we have made consistently over and over and over again. Fear does not build a healthy society. Fear builds an unhealthy society in which a very small group of people benefit enormously, thereby artificially increasing the, quote, standard of living. If you have one person living in a $10 million mansion with 12 cars parked in his driveway and an Olympic-sized swimming pool in his backyard, and 99 people living in tenement apartments that are roach and rat infested and have no fire escapes, and where they are basically herded to a lineup every morning where they line up and compete against each other for a chance to work 12-hour shift to earn a bowl of rice. You have one person living in a palace and 99 people living in a slum tenement. Yes, you have a high standard of living by one statistical average. But realistically, you have a very low standard of living. And unfortunately, we're so focused on how well the rich are doing and making sure that the rich do better and better and better, that we are quite willing to allow the poor to have worse and worse living conditions. and claim that this somehow improves the overall standard of living. And it does, according to one statistical tool and no other statistical tool. With statistics, you have the mean, the median, and the mode. And yes, when you count the median, it looks like we have a better society than we really do, because the rich are so much richer than the poor, even though there are so many more poor. It makes the illusion that the wealth gap isn't really there, and that somehow everybody is comfortably upper middle class, when in fact the vast majority of people are not even upper class. They are lower class with upper class pretensions and enormous debt loads to support the illusion. And then you have a tiny, tiny minority of people who are so obscenely rich that it just yanks the median standard of living skyward. Except that it doesn't. And I'm not saying that this is the work of conservatives. Liberals have done the exact same thing. Liberals have perpetuated this nightmare just as well as conservatives have. But you gotta admit, the conservatives have been much more aggressive about pursuing policies that lead to this sort of gross social stratification. And what stands between the upper class and the working class? Well, the police class. Something about which we should all be very deeply concerned. And I'll let you figure out the details for yourselves. In any case, ta-ta, have a great day. I gotta go to work.